Friday. It's definitely the 18th. Somebody flagged up a comment earlier to say they got the wrong day, had the right day but the wrong date. So I said Friday the 19th, which is very confusing. So if you're here at 8 o'clock, you're here at the right time. My name's Esther from My Money Matters, and I'm here to answer some questions that were put to me over mainly on Instagram. So welcome if you're watching this on the replay and catching up later after the event has happened. Hopefully some people can join me live tonight, so if there are any live questions that you want to submit, then you can. So this is my office space, I guess. I call it my craft room because that's what it used to be, still is sometimes, and it's where I still do my budgeting. So welcome along and thank you for joining me if you do pop along. I've had to spruce up a bit. It's PE day on a Friday for me, so yeah, got out of some glad rags and into something a bit not glad rags. What's the opposite of glad rags? PE rags? I don't know. There we go. So I can see a couple of people coming on live, which is great. Please do come and say hello. I want this to be as interactive as possible. I've already got a thumbs up, so that is brilliant. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll be able to see comments flag up when they come through. I will just give it a little bit of a time for people to jump on. So especially if you asked a question and you wanted to hear it, then I'm here. Kat, lovely to see you as always. Thank you so much for joining. Great stuff. And I can see a few more people joining, and Lucy's here with us in the house. Hey Lucy. Girls, how are we today? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I want this to be nice and interactive, and hopefully, you know, I'm not going to be forever. Well, I say that, but it's kind of famous last words. I have got a bit of a fan going because it's still a little bit warm. So yes, I hope you're having a good day. Glad it's a Friday. Yes, Kat, absolutely. I woke up this morning again thinking it was Saturday, which is never a good thing. My alarms go off, but I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's the weekend. I'm like, I've not done Friday yet. What's with the crowns? Ah, top fans. Have you got one show? I can't actually see on my phone. If I press that button there you go, it shows me. So it says that you're a top fan. So I think maybe if you comment a lot or interact a lot on my channel, then you get awarded a crown. So you've got crown number 1, Lucy, and Kat has got crown number 2. Welcome. I saw Elaine sneaking in there. Hi Elaine, good to see you. Great, more people have joined us, which is fantastic. Please do say hello in the comments. Like I said, I need this to be a really interactive Q&A live, because it just makes it more fun for me and more fun for you if there's a bit of interaction in the chat, and that's the way you can do it. I mean, you can request to join live if you really want to. So I've printed off, very organised, printed off my questions. Some of them are very similar, which is fine and understandable. So I've tried to kind of bunch those similar questions together. Like I said, do come on in and say hello if you're just joining us. I don't want this intro to be too long, so I will get started very soon. Good evening. Excuse me, Rosebuds Budgets. Hi, Rose. Great to see you. Don't be offended if I don't know your name. Yeah, so I know some of you, but there's just some names I know you by your handle rather than your actual name. So, yes. Okay, right, should we get started? Thank you so much for coming once again and taking up your Friday evening with me. It's always lovely to have your company. And it's nice to have a bit of light. So hopefully no artificial light or ring light for now. Okay, so the first question that came in, and I don't know if the people want to remain anonymous or not. So I don't know. So if you're here tonight, I might just say your name. I've got another question. What's with the crowns? So I think it's a new thing that YouTube have done for Facebook Lives. Sorry, YouTube. For YouTube Lives, it's like if you're top fan, and I think it's to do with the amount of interaction that you have with the channel. Have you got a crown? Let's check out who the top fans are. So we've got Kat, Lucy, Rose, and Elaine. You haven't got your crown yet, but and it's got XPs next to them as well, apparently. So you might be able to earn a crown, Elaine, as well. First question comes in and it says, do you find budgeting easy, or do you have weeks where it falls apart? Great question. It seems to move the more we comment. There we go. So the more you comment, the bigger your crown, the less the number. Good evening, Karen. Great to see. So you just have to keep typing and interacting. So do you find budgeting easy, or do you have weeks where it falls apart? So I would say now that I'm in my 3rd year of budgeting, I am finding it a lot easier. There are some weeks where if I've spent a lot of my purse money and done less online spending, it doesn't feel like it's falling apart, but it just has a knock-on effect then for stuffing into challenges. And I think because we cash stuff and budget, it helps me not to feel like I'm falling apart with my budget. And I think that is the complete joy of cash stuffing, that we feel so much more in control of our money because we have set amount there and we have an expectation of how much should be spent. So for example, yes, I did overspend with my wool the other day, but if something comes along and I think that's worth it in the long run and it'll save me money in the long run, it's worth it. I didn't have enough money in my challenge money, and I did dip into my purse money, but I still feel just because it's not exactly allocated for that thing, the money is still there for that, and I'm not eating into, I don't know, my bank account, which is, I like to have a bit of a cushion in there. So I hope that answers that question. Do you find budgeting easy, or do you have weeks where it falls apart? Cash stuffing helps me for it not to fall apart and to stay within budget. So quite a few crochet questions. So I had similar questions. How and when did you learn to crochet? Somebody else has said, how did you learn to crochet? And I've got, how long have you been crocheting for? So crocheting has become a bigger part of my channel kind of accidentally. How did I crochet? So crochet took me a good few attempts to learn and a good few different people to teach me. I really wanted to learn, and it took at least 3 attempts, at least 3, if not more, to be shown and to get crochet's got a lot to do with tension in the wool and how you hold it and how it slips through your fingers in order to get the same size initial chains, they're called, like foundation chain. It's the start of any crochet. You need to make a chain. So my sister was encouraging me to practice just making a chain, just keep practicing making a chain until the point where you're getting them the same size, the stitch is the same size, because there's no point even doing anything else until you've got that pattern down, until you've got those things the same size. So that's how I learned. I learned by watching people. So when I go away on a Christian conference, and there's quite a few people crocheting around me, and just watching the rhythm of crochet. And I was like, how do you know what hole to put it in? And once you get it, you get it. It's like just one of those things. Once you know, you know. And once you've picked it up, you don't want to put it down because it just snaps. Now, when I first started, I was very loose crocheter, but again, it just, unfortunately, like every skill in life, just takes practice. And from practice, it grows from there. Now, I had to look this up because it said, how long have you been crocheting for? So, apparently 9 years. 9 years I've been crocheting for, since 2016. So, yeah, longer than I thought. So Rose says, I would love to learn. When I attempted before, I struggled with the tension. I find YouTube tutorials great to help learn new skills. Yes, YouTube is fantastic. Excuse me. For helping you learn to crochet. Can't wait to see your finished budgeting squares creation. Yes. Kat, I'm amazed how, I think in your head, although you know it's going to be completely different, you kind of have some idea of how it might look, but it's very unpredictable. So a little bit like scrap blankets, it's still very unpredictable how the final thing will work. I've had a few people reach out to me to say, oh, I'd love to learn how to crochet. I want to give it a go. And it does make me wonder whether I should start a crochet YouTube channel. Now, there are loads and loads of channels out there, but I think sometimes when you hear it from a friend, or go at the pace that you need to, I just wonder if that will help anybody. And I kind of don't want to put it on my budgeting channel because it's something different. Now I do have another channel, so I suppose I could do it on there, possibly. But let me know if anyone's interested in just some basic how to get something. Now, I'm not great at teaching people crochet. I've done one video to show somebody, but I just think sometimes it's just getting the practice and knowing where your hook's supposed to go, what it's supposed to do, how you're supposed to hold it, and all those basics. So if anyone else is interested, please do shout and let me know. And if I can help, I'd love to help, because I'd love to hear or see more people learn to crochet. So Up the Creek Budget, sorry I don't know your name, and thank you for joining us tonight and commenting on my channel, says, I self-taught myself from YouTube. Unfortunately, they were all Americans, so I can't read UK patterns. Now with crochet, there are UK terms and US terms, and you can get written patterns, which I've not even gone down that road. I tend to prefer US terminology. One, because they're just more popular, and more YouTube videos, which I follow, are more based on USA terms. So it's easier. And I find the terminology more logical than the UK terms. So it does switch depending on who you watch, and you've got to be careful on the terms because they are called the same thing, but they mean different things. Yes, you should, said Rose. Brilliant. Coco Noodle, what a fab name. Welcome. Yes, I would love that. Definitely do it, please. Okay, great. So I could maybe publish or maybe do a bit more of a professional job and try and do that, because, yeah, I think it just needs somebody to take the time to go slowly and to kind of just do things at a pace that people can get. And like I said, I think a lot of it is to do with the tension, and only you can feel the tension and get used to the tension and the hook. In hindsight, I wonder if it would have been easier to learn with thicker wool and thick hook, so that you get the idea of what you're supposed to do. But I did learn with it quite a standard size hook and standard size wool. So whether that's an easier option, I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to bore you with crochet. Right, let me just check. There was another. Okay, I'll just jump to another question about crochet. Up the Creek says, if you don't mind popping your name in the chat if you want to, Up the Creek, that'd be great. If not, don't worry. Yes, US terms are more logical, she says, than UK terms. Yeah, definitely. So sorry if you don't know what we're on about, but when I get talking to you about it, then yeah, you'll understand. What is my latest crochet project? So I do often show my latest projects. Thank you, Debbie. Bless you. I'll try and remember that. I tend to have, hi there, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. I try to have a few projects on the go. I didn't used to. I used to want to just finish one particular project because I didn't understand people that had what's called WIPs, which is work in progress. But having various projects on the go means quite often I could take a project out and about. Sometimes I've got a more complicated project on the go, and if I get a little bit like too tired or it's too taxing for me to think about the pattern, I don't have to worry about that. I could just work on something a bit easier. And it's been quite nice to have about three intersecting, that's the wrong word, 3 different projects on the go. So I've got a project on the go which is making up some hexagons for a pink blanket for a friend, but I can't show you because I don't want it to go out on social media at all, because I want it to be a full surprise for her. She knows I'm doing it, she knows it's pink, she knows it's hexagons. So that is something that I keep dipping in and out of, because it's one of those more tricky projects. I've got my scrap blanket on the go, and I keep this is a nice one that I can just sit down and do, and because I'm a bit further away I can show you. It's one I can sit down and do without overly thinking. So I don't know, I can't see what's on the, so that's how big it is. It's probably sort of a shawl size, but I'm loving the way this is coming together with all the like various colours. So I'm working on that. I've left it in here from the other day, and I am working on the budget squares. And there's one bag that I take out and about with me. So I've just got a hat that I'm trying to work on, like a big chunky wool. So that's that. Can you crochet me a Highland cow? Can you guess who this is from? I've looked for a decent Highland cow pattern for free, and I'm not convinced about the ones that I've seen. But if I could find a nice pattern to make one, then yeah, I could try. Thank you. I'm really enjoying that scrap blanket because the colours are a little bit more chosen than I would with my other scrap blankets. So that's quite nice. Okay. Any more crochet questions before I move on? Because I know that some of you might be rolling your eyes at the crochet questions. Now, interestingly, I had 2 other similar questions. Which challenge have you done that you would like to redo, and how would you make it better? Great question. And then somebody else has said, will you ever re-release any past challenges that you used to sell? So I'm just going to answer Rosie's questions. Yes, will you make me a forget-me-not? Now, with a forget-me-not, they're quite flat. So yeah, I could probably make you one in answer to that question. I did have a look for patterns, and there's some nice crocheted forget-me-nots out there. So yes, one of those questions came from our lovely Lucy Luxor, who's with us tonight. Which challenge have you done that you would like to redo, and how would you make it better? This is tricky because quite often I won't redo a challenge unless it's selling particularly well. So I did redo the cupcake challenge, and I think I just changed the background on it. There wasn't a lot of change to that one. And when I've redone them recently, it's more just to update them to my new style of having the card go right to the edge and hole punching that bigger size. I tend not to re-release or bring back old challenges just because they tend to peter out and I'm bringing in new ones. So I don't have people reaching out and saying, oh, will you bring that challenge back? It was amazing. I'd love to buy it still. Unless that happens, there's kind of there's no business sense in me returning challenges. Now, that said, I did think about this and thought, what was brilliant? Hi, Jenny. Lovely for you to join us. Welcome. You're late to the party, but you're here. Was what started my whole Etsy, and was starting with those farmyard challenges. And I had the idea of doing a pig challenge. And in those early stages, I was chatting to Lucy, and she said, look, why don't you make a batch and have other farmyard animals and cows and other things, and then you can have different denominations. And that's what I did, and they sold like hotcakes. And big shout out to Lucy, because Lucy has been such a brilliant brainchild behind some of my challenges. She'll come up with a grand idea and I'll go, brilliant, love that, and I'll run with it. So big shout out to Lucy. She doesn't make all of them, just saying, like, you know, credit where credit's due, and not to get her head too big. I do have ideas. But no, in all honesty, thanks to Lucy, yeah, she is a gem, and she might not be, if she could create it herself, she would. I know she would. But I know she has the joy of seeing me then create it, and, you know, she's still waiting on her 10%. Don't worry, it'll come in my will. Oh dear. So yes, going back to the question, I think, like, maybe for like some sort of anniversary or big, if I hit a big number of sales or something, I mean, which, you know, I've done amazingly well, thanks to everybody for their support with my Etsy shop. Maybe I can like release an ode to the farmyard challenge, and do something with all the animals and just update it, or just do something with that, maybe with the old images or something. Maybe even if I did a freebie or something, I don't know, but I think that's what I would do. So if you carry on blushing, Lucy, you deserve the credit where credit is due. Right, next question. So just, if you have any questions, please do ask them, but maybe just save them until I've got through the questions that are on my paper. I'd love to, like I said, love this to be interactive. And if you've got any questions, please feel free. But maybe just leave them, obviously interact now, but leave any burning questions to the end so I can get through the ones that people have submitted. So another question, how do you find all your bargains at car boots and charity shops? I never find anything. How do I find them? Go to them. Like people say, oh, I go to charity shops and I can't find anything. It's like, how often do you go? Oh, once a month, once every 6 weeks. And it's like, that's not enough. You've got to go regularly enough to know what stock comes in. I used to go with a friend in the end of January, February, which is quite a good time of year to go if you think about it, because Christmas is over, giving away my secrets. Christmas is over and people have had enough time to get rid of any unwanted gifts and then go, got too much in my house, I need to declutter and have a January clear out. So quite often that time of year is quite a good time to look for even gifts or presents if you're the kind of person that stocks up for next Christmas or looking for gifts, because a lot of unwanted gifts would come in, or nice things that people don't want, or people would have had a clear out. A major difference that has made a difference is me having lost some weight and what's available to me in the charity shops now and car boot sales in terms of clothing, because there's the bigger sizes, there's just not the style isn't there. There's not the nicer stuff compared to, oh, I'm just going to block. I'm just doing it on live.
Oh, sorry.
That's Mr. Money Matters, but I haven't released him to the world yet.
Hello, everyone. Sorry.
So I'm just going to block him because he might not want to be on camera. And at the moment, he's anonymous to everybody. Most of you, actually, some of you know him. I'm just going to turn it around this way. Okay, so I would say keep going. You've got to just keep looking. And sometimes the area that you live in will make a big difference as to what you find. So obviously, the more expensive areas, you will get more designer things, but you're more likely for things to be more expensive because it's an expensive area with designer things. So that's quite nice if you go on holiday or go somewhere different to explore their charity shops to see what they've got on offer, because it'll be different from what's in your area. And quite often you can kind of get the same sort of thing. Now, I do think that Vinted, and not so much eBay, but definitely Vinted, has made a big dent on what's available in charity shops compared to what it used to, because a lot of people now will sell on Vinted instead of donating to charity shops. And so sometimes the quality of stuff isn't there like it used to be. So I would say just keep going. And you also just think about your budget with charity shops, because some things are quite expensive for what they are. Are you prepared to pay £10 for a dress from Marks and Spencer's, for example? It just does depend. But the area that you live in, so if you do go on holiday, it's worth exploring different charity shops, and just keep looking, because you never know what you're going to find. Car boots, I go to maybe twice a year. He's going to stay there now for the rest of my life because he couldn't get past. You can say no, but you can keep off camera. Oh, yes. Come on. I'm trying to hide you from the world.
I don't mind. It's all right.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
So that's it, really. That's, just keep looking, I would say. Right. I had a question, was how are you? no, sorry. Hope you're okay was the question. So yes, I'm all right. I'm just, at this point in time, I'm just winding down for the end of term. So Elaine says, I love charity shops. Yeah, no, they're fab. I have shopped in charity shops, I want to say most of my life. Thank you. Going to make me blush now. Yeah, he's so supportive, so supportive. Karen says, I was in a charity shop today while on holiday and picked up a brand new 100 envelope challenge binder, A5 with dashboard and challenge boards for £3. That is a bargain. That is a good find, Karen. And it's a budgeting find, which is even more exciting. Hi, Helen. Good evening to you. And hi, Mr. Money Matters. Thank you. Thanks. He's featured on my other channel. I'll tell you about that in a minute because I'll get sidetracked. So this brings me nicely on to the next question. What do you do for work and how many hours do you do? Debbie says, I have a couple of Facebook Lives I go on for good deals on clothes and can pick up dresses, newer tags for £3.50. Wow. So I do buy off Vinted. I think when you buy Vinted or Vinted and things like that, you've got to know your shape, know your size, know the brand sometimes. So that's what another great reason to shop in charity shops is, because you can quite often try stuff on. If it doesn't fit, quite often you can return it. If it does work out, the money goes to charity. There's just so many benefits of like upcycling things that would go to landfill. It's so much cheaper than buying new clothes. I would say 98% of my clothes are secondhand, if not more. And I have absolutely no shame in it whatsoever. And I don't know why not more people do it, to be honest. Right, what do you do for work? I'm a teaching assistant. That's what I do for work. Which I've probably mentioned on the channel a long time ago. I did keep my job to myself for a long time, but yes, I'm a teaching assistant and I work part-time. I work 3 days a week. And how many hours do I do? I think it's, I wanted to say 20, but I think it's a bit more than that. And I work during part of my lunch hour as well in order to have a bit of extra money. So I do the lunch duty as well with the children. So most of my years have been working in reception class, which is the children that just start school from nursery. But next year I'll be changing, from September, I'll be changing the year group that I work with. And I'll be working with year 4. Don't ask me how old they are, because I don't know. Lucy, I don't know if you can help me out. How old are the year 4s? So thankfully, the class I'll be working with, I had worked with when they were in the reception class. So I at least know them by name, but I know that their needs have become more over the years, and they have been a challenging class. So come September, it will be a brand new teacher to the school. So I'll be working with somebody new in that respect, and I've not worked with this age group before. So yes, we'll see how that goes. So I did work in reception, and 1 year I did work with year 6s, which was very challenging and just generally a challenging year for me mental health wise. And it made me much more aware of mental health needs and how easy it is to get run down and just have things get on top of you. So that was a real learning curve. Yes. Okay, how come, so the same person, how come you don't mention mortgage / household bills in your budget video? Now, I don't know if people have spotted this, that I don't mention mortgage and household bills. So there are some things in my budget that I will keep private and I won't share. Not many things. I don't really want to share my income, really. I don't want it out there in the world exactly how much I earn. But all you need to know is that I work part-time and I'm on low income. And in fact, we're a low income household. Household bills. So I've got a separate account. I've got a joint account with my husband, and I've also got a separate account, which is my account. So a lot of the other stuff comes out of that account. So that's why you don't often see it on the channel, because that's to do with a separate budget and a separate account. So yeah, your clothes may be from a charity shop, but you always look lovely when we see you, or should I say, see your arms. Thank you, Helen. Okay, nice little plug for me. If you do want to see me dressed up, if you do want to see more of my style or what I've picked up from charity shops or what I wear, I do actually have an Instagram account called Style Finds. So it's E, the word style, and then finds. So it's to do with what I found in the charity shop or what I wear, that my outfit for the day and my jewellery for the day. So if you're interested, follow me over on Instagram, then you can do that. Lucy said, it's okay to keep things private. Mr. Money Matters has jumped on. What's your biggest spending regret? Now, Mr. Money Matters wasn't here when I said, hold fire with your questions till the end. So I will come back to that. I've got to think of one. Yeah, I think it's fine. Especially, you've got to remember the internet is one of those places where once it's out there, it's out there. So once you've shared information, there's no coming back from it, and you've got to be careful of that. So definitely, if there's stuff about your budget, or even if you want to remain anonymous and have more things anonymous, that's perfectly fine. What are you doing, mister? Go away.
I want to see if I can get you to answer my question.
Oh, well, I have to come back to it because I'm trying to go through my questions.
Oh, sorry.
Honestly, it's
Hijacking you, sorry.
gate crashing.
I'll go
my
back and listen online. I'm such a fan.
Oh, dear. Another Insta. Yes, I do have many secrets. I think I don't advertise that one just because, again, it's one of those ones that I do for my own record. It's just nice to see how or what outfit have I put together today. Don't answer this question. It's a trap. Yeah, I got another Insta. I did mention it, I think. So I've got about 4 Instagram accounts. I've got one for my craft stuff, which was my original one, but then I had to set up a new one because that got totally spammed, and I was following all these random people and I couldn't get rid of it. I've got My Money Matters. I've got one for my crochet and then one for my finds, my my style, I suppose, if for want of a better word. Sorry, it had the little arrow button and I was clicking on it and it didn't do anything. Okay. Next question. Do you have any big life dreams / goals you'd like to make happen in the future? I find this question a little bit tricky because I'm not a big goal setter. I'm not one of these people that have got a 5-year plan, knows what I want to do in 5 years' time, wants to save up for such and such. So I was thinking about it, and I suppose I set more short-term goals. Any long-term goals are just anything you see on my channel. So I think just generally saving up for your future, just having that saving there for future, for retirement, for funeral, that type of thing. If this trip to America does happen next year, I think, because it's reliant on a group of people, I'm going to wait for somebody to take control and going, right, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, kind of thing. So that's why I'm so hesitant about the USA trip. I know it sounds a bit bizarre, but it's one of the kind of thing that people suggest it, and like I said, if it happens, it happens. So that would be amazing if that does happen and I could go abroad. But I don't actually have any major life goals because so much can change as well. So if I can keep saving for the following year like I have been, like that's good enough for me. Making those small goals and yeah, doing things like that. Okay. Interesting question. If you could have one thing for free for the rest of your life, no limits, what would it be? Would it be cheating if I suddenly said money? Hi, Dave full of budgets. Great to see you. Super late, but you're here, and that's all that matters. Don't worry. If I had one thing for free for the rest of my life, yeah, no, money. To be honest, I'd rather not play the lottery or even try and win the lottery. I don't do the lottery for my own moral reasons. But no, it wouldn't be money. I would rather work for money than win loads and loads of money for free and not have to work ever again. I wouldn't like that. Is it a cop-out to say wool? If I didn't have to buy wool again, then I wouldn't have to have a wool fund. And then my second thing would probably be pastry. But I can get quite a lot of pastry of Olio anyway. If you don't know what Olio is, it's the food waste app. I know wool feels a bit of a cop-out and I couldn't think of anything else. So maybe savoury pastry. Do you like pastry? Pies? Love a pie. Jewellery? Vouchers. Gift cards. If I could have a lifetime's worth of gift cards, that is like saying to a genie, I want endless wishes. Hi, Sal. Good to see you. Gift cards, that would be my answer. Because then I wouldn't have the money, but I could ask for a gift card for whatever company I wanted. I could spend the amount I wanted. Perfect answer, Esther, don't you think? Okay, I'm going to return the question to you guys in the chat. Let me know. If you could have one thing free for the rest of your life, no limits, what would it be? Let me know. Okay, so now you're not going to understand this question, but somebody said, who is your favourite bouncer? A bouncer is somebody that does trampolining. So it has to be Highland budgets. And that answer's just for her. Are you still charity shopping? Absolutely. We've chatted about charity shopping. So I'm just going to stop here because Sal has said, why are people getting crowns? So it's to do with when you're live on YouTube, it's like it shows immediately who the top fans are, and it's to do with the interaction on the chat by the looks of it. So you get crowned if you, the more you interact and chat with the channel. Yeah. So in fact, the top people have now moved depending on the interaction. So those people that started off with crowns have now, they've been bumped off their heads and other people have got them. So yeah, for some reason it's the interaction. So yes, very much still charity shopping and going around sales, because I feel like in the long run you do save a lot of money. So if you could have something free for the rest of your life, Matt says pizza, Leah says chocolate. A day full of budgets, sorry, remind me of your name, please. Says travel. Oh. And Karen says stationery. Stationery's a good one. I know there's some stationery lovers out there. Yeah. Imagine having chocolate for the rest of your life, or crisps. Snacks. Snacks would be another one. Just general snacks that I could choose. And maybe chili sauce. There's a particular chili. Natalie. Sorry, Natalie. I do try and remember, but I'm better with faces, I think, because I'm a more visual person. Natalie, thank you. Right. And I've answered all the questions on paper. So a question that came in, holidays, said Debbie, lifetime of holidays. Imagine that. Great. Actually, that is a good answer because you don't have to keep paying for holidays. So Mr. Money Matters cheekily asked, what's your biggest spending regret? That is really tricky to answer because quite a lot of my spends are planned spends. There's not many things, not many big. I would say any regrets would be a big spend that I thought, I wish I didn't buy that. I have smaller spending regrets. But I think a spending regret would be spending lots of money on a bigger thing, which I don't think I've regretted any big spend because it's usually a thoughtful spend. Elaine would like to have Johnny Depp for the rest of her life. Do you think we can make that happen for Elaine? Oh, I'm really trying to think about that question. So, I mean, I think any regrets are buying off the internet and things that are a different size than what you thought was going to be. That's happened a few times. No regrets, says Lucy. Yeah, no, I'd like to say no regrets, but there is always regrets. I think clothing off Vinted that hasn't fitted right. Swimming suits. Now, I don't know if people get funny about buying secondhand swimsuits. You know, I can understand that some people might be like, oh, why are you buying a secondhand swimsuit for? No shame. I've bought secondhand swimsuits. They're washed. They go in the wash. It's fine. Like I said, each to their own. And I did try and buy some last year, and there was one that said it was a certain size. I was like, if that is the size that it says it is, that is an absolute lie because I could barely get it over my thigh type thing, you know, exaggeration. Elaine, Lucy's putting a call in for you. She's going to get Johnny on the line, see if we can sort it for you, all right? Wishes do come true. So, yeah, I think buying things on the internet and them turning up, you know, like ordering stuff off Temu and they come completely, you know, those like wobbly, wavy men thing. Like I saw a meme about that there was like this tiny little thing. I don't know if it was true. Ice cream for Helen. Helen wants a life a time of ice cream. And let me know your favourite flavour in the chat. If you could have whatever, if I pulled up with an ice cream van right now and said I've got all the flavours in all the world, excuse me, what flavour would you go for? Let me know. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. It's been lovely to answer those questions. I've now been on for 40 minutes. I don't mind sticking around a little bit longer. If you've got to this point and you are watching me play, it might be too late, but you can speed me up if you want to, because sometimes that's easier to watch. I might be sped up already, and then I'm talking really fast. If you've got any questions you want to ask now, I could try and answer. Raspberry Ripple with a flake stuck in the top. I forget about Raspberry Ripple. That is a good flavour because the raspberry, the sour raspberry, cuts through the sweetness of the ice cream. Good flavour. I always want to go to say pistachio, but I don't know if that's necessarily, you know, my actual favourite. I think it's because it's one of those rarer flavours that are never available when you want it. So I sort of, my go-to answer would be pistachio. Whatever you do, don't eat the pistachio ice cream. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you once again for joining me. What a great question. What do you like most about your job? Now, there are very difficult, challenging, stressful things about my job, but what do you like most about your job? When the kids come out with funny things, today my colleague and I, we had quite a laugh today, and it's so lovely. I get along so well with the other TA that I work with, and we got told that this grandparent was coming to pick up a child from class, and they said, right, oh, you know, what does he look like, so we know who roughly to look out for. I don't know if we asked what he looks like or whether we got told he looked like Paul Hollywood. Right? Anyway, everyone left after school. Who was left? The child that was going to get picked up by the Paul Hollywood granddad. Nowhere to be seen. So the other TA and I went round to the office to see if we could find said granddad. And the other sibling was waiting in the office. So I'm like, oh well, you know, we'll leave him there. And then we see this tall guy, older gentleman, white hair. We're like, that must be him. So we're like, oh, is that your granddad? They went, yeah. So we said, look, come on, let's go around and we'll take you to him. So we brought the children out to go and, you know, pass them over to granddad. By which time granddad had gone around the other side of the school. So we're in this comic kind of chase, like one person going one way and us going the other way. Anyway, no, that was just like a by the way story. It was just one of those funny moments of like doing laps around the school. Yeah, that was a giggle. Anyway, mint choc chip, says Debbie, would be her flavour. Karen says, Esther, do you use a financial binder to record what is in all your binders? I'm new to cash stuffing and trying to work out what information would be useful. Karen, I do keep a record on Excel. So I don't have a digital binder. I suppose I keep a digital record. I just use Excel. If you are digitally au fait with Excel and computers, it's a great way just to keep a record. Another person great, like who's even better at Excel and could do fancy charts and graphs, is your lovely Jen in the chat, Budgets and Dreams. She makes it look way more fancy than I do, but I just try and keep mine as basic as possible with the information that I need. So yeah, just list my, you know, what I'm inputting each month, my totals. I think start simple, start basic. Don't overcomplicate matters. Pardon me, which can be very easy to do when you first start cash stuffing. So yes, keep a digital record if you can. And most importantly, find out what areas need what amount. I think I'm going to need a light on. Well, that makes a big difference. What you think each category is going to need. That's what you need to start with, and then work towards that. And then that might change depending on your situation or just, you might find, oh, actually it needs a bit more, it needs a bit less. So I hope that helps. Peppermint or Rocky Road ice cream? Oh, Cindy. Rocky Road and peppermint. Oh, so not just mint choc chips, she's talking peppermint. Helen says, what music do you like to listen to? Now, that's interesting because I've got a very eclectic taste, but I listen to a variety of music. And if you could listen to my Spotify playlist, you're like, that's a bit all over the place. I like to listen to music that makes me happy a lot of the time. I will listen to Christian music, gospel music, 90s music, 60s music, some R&B, some soul, but then also some more kind of like Ed Sheeran, and like I'm not very good with artist names. Just whatever I like, I'll listen to. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that I have a particular taste in music because my music is all over the place. And like I said, if you could hear my like, I love like the Lambada. I love that tune, and just tunes that kind of resonate with maybe memories or that type of thing. Yeah. Bruno Mars, that kind of vibe, you know, that type of music. Did he look like Paul though? Well, kind of. He had a white beard and good thick white hair, and I thought he looked very handsome for an older man. Hey Kerry, cookie dough, good choice. Yes, I do like cookie dough. A bit like the Ben and Jerry's cookie dough. It looks like there's a ghost in my garden. I know. That's our chimenea. We have a lovely clay chimenea, which is one of those like a wood burner, but it's covered up. So did we have a clay? Yeah, we had a clay one before, and the chimenea, clay one, it retains the heat and it keeps the wood contained, and it shoots all the heat up the chimney. Whereas if you get a metal one, I find them a little bit more dangerous because they're metal, and if it's like a fire pit, like, you're more likely to get sparks coming out of that. So we've roasted marshmallows. It's just particularly more like, we've not had it going in the summer, obviously, but in the autumn to sit out with the fire going is so comforting and lovely. I've got a real ghost outside now. Right. If nobody knows, that's Mr. Money Matters, who's now revealed his name, which is Matt. So I missed the beginning of your chat. Do you say if you still have children at home, do you need to save for their higher education, or is that free in the UK? Great question, Cindy. Thank you. No worries, you didn't miss that answer. Yes, I still have children at home. One is 20 and the other is 15. Yeah, is he 15? No, he's 14. I keep making him older than he is, bless him. He's 14. I know, I should know. Yes. Yes, there's free education up to a certain age. So the eldest he's out of work at the moment and looking for work, but he has been working and finished some studies. So yeah, it totally does look like, I need to put some, like, a couple of little dots for eyes on there. Or it looks like a man with a sheet over his head. Matt says, I listen to gangster rap. That's what he listens to. Binders and Cash likes her 80s music. Me and Excel have a major falling out, says Debbie. Moreover, I can't figure it out. I prefer my budget book and writing everything down. Perfect. If that's what you can manage, go for it. Lucy, I just had to look through the window. It really did look like a ghost. I know, I thought that when I could see out the corner of my eye. I was like, let's just not mention the chimenea. Oh dear. Yeah, it does. I can see what you mean. Empty chair with a ghost next to it. Any more? Thank you for doing the live questions. It's nice to get some questions live and the opportunity to ask me while I'm here and while you've got my attention. So he's decided to do the gardening now. He wants to be on. We need to get him his own channel. So Matt often goes and watches films at the cinema, and we said that he needs to have his own channel where he does film reviews. It's all Lucy's fault. Any more questions? thank you again for joining me. And can I just sometimes I think it'd be worth me answering questions that I think I'd like to know. Does that make sense? That you probably haven't thought to ask, but I feel like I should answer. What colour binder do you not have but want? I really like that sage green one that everyone's got. And I never remember the word sage. When I am describing that colour, I always go, oh, that mossy green. And it's not mossy green at all. But in my head, I associate it with, I don't know, the colour moss for some reason. Sage green is the colour. And I'm really into that colour. I've got a water bottle of that colour. What else have I got that colour? Not a lot else. But yeah, I really like that sage green that everyone's got. Have you enjoyed the live, and would you do another sometime? Absolutely, I do another sometime. I'm used to doing lives, and I don't mean that in a big-headed way. I did a lot when so years ago there was a platform, a social media platform called Periscope. Now I don't know if any of you have heard of it, were on it, seen it, knew about it. It was probably before TikTok came about, and Periscope was very much anywhere in the world you could just hit the live button and kind of just share your life, come on and chat, share what you're doing, share a skill and that kind of thing. So almost like an extended version of TikTok, I guess. And it was such a great platform to get used to talking live, to get used to talking into the camera and not talking to your face, because when you talk to your face, you're looking at you here, not at the people. And even when you come on to a live and do a video, you don't, what is not very courteous is to just sit and go, right, I'm just going to wait for more people to join me. I'm just coming on live, but I'm not going to start yet because I'm just going to see who's going to come on. And actually, it's really important and professional to start straight away. Introduce yourself, do a bit of chat. It's fine to say that you're waiting for people, but it's a bit rude for those that have just joined. You might have that one person that have just joined. You almost sort of, it feels like they're insignificant because you're waiting for, actually, I'm waiting for more people. I don't just want you here. And it's important for those watching replay afterwards, because all they get is you going, well, I'm just waiting. And it's like, well, what are you waiting for? I'm here, I'm watching, you've got my attention. So Periscope is a really good platform to practice that live and get those nerves out of the way and to press the live button and to just go. And, you know, you build up a community, you build up friendships, and, you know, even now I've got friends that I'm still in touch with through that platform. Leah says, new subscriber and nice to have joined this live. Thank you, new subscriber. Great to have you. Cindy used to have Periscope. I used to watch Periscope. Oh, wow, Cindy. We might have had our paths cross or never cross. Helen, what other jobs have you? Question. Okay, so before I worked in the school, I did work in a nursery or a kindergarten. Before I worked in the kindergarten, I worked with a young lady who's got special needs, and I was a support worker for her. I worked in a chip shop, which was one of my dream jobs as a child. I wanted to work in a chip shop, and I actually worked in a chip shop. Before that, I worked in, it sounds like I had loads of jobs, but I had stopped jobs for reasons, and I went into other jobs. So it's usually because I had children or that type of thing. Before the chip shop, I worked in a jeweler's, but he had a separate online gift business for specifically buying gifts for the wedding party. So gifts for your bridesmaids, best man, that type of thing. It was a very specific thing, and they were beautifully gift boxed, and that was my job also, to be able to beautifully package these gifts in white boxes with blue ribbon. Yeah. And then before that, kind of leaving school, there was a point in my life that I had 7 part-time jobs just to be able to fill my time. So rather than having one job, my parents said to me, look, if you're going to be at home, you need to work and you need to fill your time as if you're working full time. So I had a Saturday job in a hairdresser's shampoo girl, and I worked 7 other various jobs and volunteer jobs and babysitting and childminding and working in schools and that type of thing. So yeah, I've had various job experiences over the years. Great question, Helen, thank you. Any other questions? It's amazing when you get into your 40s and you look back and you look at your life experiences. I love you got to work your childhood dream job. I did too, in a video shop. What a cool job. So yeah, when I was younger, there was 2 jobs I wanted, to be a window cleaner and to work in a chip shop. This was like excuse me. So I loved the way they would squeegee the windows and then like do that whole swipey thing. Loved that. And then chip shop. Unfortunately, the chip shop I worked in often used boxes to I know, it sounds a bit posh, doesn't it? To put their fish and chips in, darling. So if you ordered cod and chips, it'd come in a box rather than wrapped up in paper. So I used to love that whole kind of, the way they used to wrap the fish and chips. I mean, we did it with the chips. It's not quite the same though, is it? If you could go on a date with anyone in the world, who would you choose and where would you go? I don't know. If I could go on a date with anyone in the world, who would I choose? Matt shouting your husband, but I know you already. Who would I go on a date with? Maybe not a date, but who would I? No, I'm not going on a date with, he's shouting now. Not going on a date with anybody else, but if I was to meet somebody else, like somebody famous, who would be interesting? Have to be somebody off Clarkson's Farm at the moment, that's what I'm into. Gerald from Clarkson's Farm. I think I'd struggle. And we'd go to the Diddley Squat. I don't know if he's opened his pub yet, I'm a bit behind. That's what I'd do. 7 part-time jobs are impressive. Yeah, I was young then. Could manage just about, although I did struggle to get up in the mornings. Yeah. Right, I'm nearly on the hour. Got 18 people of you, so thank you so much once again. Please feel free to, nearly dropped my ring. Feel free to knock out any last few questions, the last few minutes. It's been great. Oh yes, I would definitely consider doing a live again. I'll definitely think about the whole crochet thing and think about whether to just put it on my other channel. So my other channel, I did a lot of card making over the years, and I was part of I was a demonstrator, an independent demonstrator for a stamp company, which I would describe as being like an Avon rep, but for a craft stamp company. So I used to do that. I mean, I still do make cards and still run classes and workshops, but that was my main kind of source of YouTube and that type of thing on my other channel. And I did a lot of lives over there. I used to do a lot of Facebook lives as well, but they've now changed the whole Facebook live thing, and they don't save your videos, so they're lost forever, because there's no point me saving all those. So that's why it's nice to have YouTube, because at least you've got some record of your lives that you've done. So yeah, I'll definitely consider the crochet thing, because it'd be nice, even if it's the odd video and it doesn't do anything, it's there for me to be able to refer people to it if they want to learn. Favourite place to go on holiday? Wow, there is I've mentioned before, we go away on this Christian conference, and that is kind of as a family, our favourite place to go. It's such a special place with special people, and if I could go anywhere, it's there. It's in Shropshire, and it just holds a really dear place in our hearts. So yeah, that's our favourite place to go on holiday, this place in Shropshire where we have this conference. I'd love to go abroad again, and I've not been abroad loads, so I'd like, it's always nice to explore other areas. Matt and I, Mr. Money Matters and I, had a lovely holiday in Monmouth, I think for an anniversary, and that was really lovely to visit there. So it's always nice to visit new places, and anywhere that's got a charity shop is always worth going to. Oh, Clarkson's Farm is my new guilty pleasure. So I totally just dismissed it for ages, but it just makes me laugh out loud. And I'm finally at the 4th series, so I'm finally catching up with that. But yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. So there you go. I've hit the hour. So if there are no more questions, I just want to say thank you very much. Please do enter my giveaway, which is on my latest video for the Christmas mystery subscription. So there are a couple of videos released already of people showing what is in this month's subscription. So if you want to know, I wonder whether to spoil it for you or not. I won't spoil it. Go and enter the competition for your chance to win. If you've already got a subscription and you want to nominate, oh look at that, on time. I did turn off my notifications for an hour because I've gone over the hour. Sorry, that totally threw me. If you've got the subscription and you want to nominate somebody, you can do that. I did forget to say it is UK based only. Forgot to mention that vital thing. So go and you need to answer a question in my previous video, my pre-recorded video, to be in with a chance of winning. Make sure you're subscribed and share the video out and give it a like and need to put the certain comment, and then you're in for a chance of winning. Sweet or savoury? Do you know what, Kat? Recently savoury. Like, I don't know, like, I think I fancy sweet, but then when I have it, sometimes I find things too sweet. But then a bit of both. But I think I'm verging more on savoury, usually. But then I'm like, oh, I fancy something sweet now that I've had something savoury. So have a great weekend too, Elaine. Thank you so much. I don't know if there's a way of seeing. Oh, right, let's try. So Karen, Elaine, Jenny, Matt, Rose, Kat, Natalie, Debbie, Helen, Cindy, Sal, Lucy, Kerry, Leah, Sarah and Coco Noodle. And anybody else who's on here that I haven't found, thank you so much for joining me on my live once again, and I will catch you this rate on Monday for another weekly check-in, and then I'll have 2 more working days before the holidays. Yay. So I'm going to leave you and love you and thank you again. Thank you for your support. Thank you for commenting, for showing up, for subscribing, for just being there. Thank you. And yes, thanks for the chat. Oh, you're amazing too, Jenny. Love you lots. Thank you. Well done. Proud of you, says Matt. Thank you. My #1 supporter right there. Mr. Matthew. Oh, right, lovelies. Mwah. Take care of yourself. God bless you. And I hope to see you again very soon. Okay. Ciao for now. Bye.